You get injured and you file a claim. Just when you start healing, it happens again. Now you're juggling 2 injuries, 2 timelines, and one big fear. Can I even file another claim? Or will this ruin the first one? Listen to me. That confusion is exactly what insurance companies count on, because if you hesitate, they pay less. This video walks you through exactly how multiple claims work in New York and why the law is actually on your side, so you can file for what you're owed. So avoid rookie mistakes and stop second guessing whether you're allowed to recover twice, because the answer is 100% yes. Hi, I'm attorney Brett Harrison with over 30 years of litigating personal injury claims here in New York. And I am stating definitively, yes, I'm going to say it again, yes, you absolutely can pursue multiple personal injury claims simultaneously in New York as long as they stem from separate, unrelated accidents. I get this question more often than you might think, and you're not alone. And it usually comes from people who've had what feels like the worst luck imaginable. But here, New York law doesn't prevent you from filing multiple injury claims at the same time. Each accident is treated as its own separate legal matter, with its own facts, its own damages, and its own path through the legal system. Why multiple claims are legally permissible. The fundamental principle here is that each accident creates its own cause of action. Under New York civil practice law and rules, sections 214, subsection A, you have generally 3 years from the date of each accident to file a personal injury lawsuit, unless, of course, it involves a municipality, for example, like a government vehicle. Those statutes are shorter. These statutes of limitations run independently. They do not affect each other. Think of it this way. If you're injured in a car accident, let's just say on January 1st, 2023, you have until January 1st, 2026 to file that lawsuit. Now, if you're then injured in a completely separate incident, let's say June 1st, 2023. You have until June 1st, 2026 to file that second lawsuit. The first accident doesn't somehow use up your right to seek compensation for the second one. Now listen, I've handled cases where clients were dealing with 3 or even 4 separate claims simultaneously. Sometimes when you have one accident and a second accident, what happens is it's a different body part that's injured. And sometimes it's the same body part, but it's what's known as exacerbating a pre-existing injury, could be making it worse. And sometimes you could have the same injury from the prior accident plus additional injuries. So now let's talk about one memorable case involved a construction worker who was injured on the job site. Then he had a car accident during his recovery. And then, crazy as it is, things happen in threes. He had a slip and fall at a medical facility while attending physical therapy. Talk about hard luck. Each case had different defendants, different insurance companies, and different legal theories, and different levels of injuries. Some similar, some different. But we pursued all of them successfully. Yes, did it take more time to resolve them? Absolutely. Now, let's talk about how insurance companies handle multiple claims. Here's where things get a little bit more complex and where you really need experienced legal representation. Insurance companies, they love to use the old multiple claims against you. They'll argue that your injuries are from the second accident and they aren't as severe because you were already injured from the first accident. You know, what they like to do is they like to basically shift the card. You ever see that on the streets of New York City where they move, follow the ball, which card is it under? Don't believe the hype. We've been down this road. So let us show you how we do it. We don't want you to be frazzled by all their nonsense and everything you're hearing. We're going to get you through it. We're going to show the strategy. And you know what? You're going to be happy at the end of that result. And you're going to feel confident in exactly how we're handling it and understand it. Or they'll claim that your ongoing medical treatment is really for the first injury, not the new one. This is called the prior injury of pre-existing condition defense. And it's one of the most common tactics insurance companies use to reduce their payouts. But here's what they won't tell you. Under New York law, you are entitled to compensation for aggravating or worsening of a pre-existing condition. The seminal case, of Ferrara v. Galuchio established that a defendant is liable for aggravating a plaintiff's pre-existing condition, even if the plaintiff was already injured. The key is proper documentation and medical evidence. When I represent clients with multiple claims, we work closely with their medical team or teams to clearly distinguish between the injuries from the different accidents. We obtain detailed medical records, imaging studies, and expert opinions that can pinpoint exactly which symptoms and limitations stem from which accidents. We basically like to corner the insurance company into submission. Now let's discuss the importance of separate legal strategies. Each of your cases will likely require different legal approaches. A car accident case might involve New York's no-fault insurance law and comparative negligence principles. A slip and fall case will focus on premises liability and most likely notice requirements. A medical malpractice case will involve entirely different standards of care and expert witness requirements. In my practice, I've found that keeping these cases organizationally separate but strategically coordinated works best for clients. Think of us like a conductor in an orchestra. We point to different things and we make sure it's all sounds right and it's all lined up so it coordinates perfectly. We maintain separate case files, separate discovery processes, and often work with different insurance companies and defense attorneys for each case. But we coordinate our medical evidence and make sure our litigation strategies don't conflict with each other. Basically, we're the driver in this, not the passenger in this whole thing. We do not let the insurance company, defense attorneys drive the car and us being the passenger. We drive the car. We know the direction we're going in. The insurance companies, defense attorneys, they know it. They know we're serious. It's game time. For example, if you're claiming you can't work due to injuries from your car accident, we need to be careful about how we present your ability to work in your slip and fall case. Consistency in your testimony and medical evidence across all cases is crucial. We need to tell your story, to present it in an organized way that makes sense and lines up with all your cases and your timelines. Let's discuss now the medical documentation and why that becomes critical. When you're dealing with multiple injury claims, medical documentation becomes absolutely critical. Remember, we have the burden of proving your case. Every doctor's visit, every imaging study, every physical therapy session, they need to be properly documented and attributed to the correct incident or accident. I always advise clients in this situation to be completely transparent with their healthcare providers. Some things are good, some things are bad. It is what it is. It's all about their injuries and accidents. Don't try to simplify things by only mentioning one accident to one doctor and another accident to a different doctor. Your medical team needs the complete picture, the whole story, to provide accurate treatment and documentation. We also typically recommend that clients see specialists who can help differentiate between injuries. For example, an orthopedic surgeon, a pain specialist, or a spine specialist, for instance, can often determine whether a herniated disc was caused by a car accident's impact or by a slip and falls twisting motion. A neurologist can distinguish between concussion symptoms from different incidents or accidents. Now let's discuss the potential complications to watch out for. Now, while you can absolutely pursue multiple claims, there are some complications you need to be aware of. This is no walk in the park. First, settlement timing becomes more complex. Sometimes it makes sense to settle one case before resolving another, especially if one case is stronger or if the medical picture becomes clearer over time. Other times, coordinating settlements can maximize your overall recovery. There's also the issue of what we call judgment-proof defendants. If you have limited insurance coverage across multiple cases, we need to strategically think about how to maximize recovery from all available sources. Another complication is the potential for conflicting medical opinions. This, defense attorneys will try to find inconsistencies in your medical records or testimony between the doctors and the cases. That's why having experienced legal representation who can coordinate your case is so vitally important. let's discuss the discovery process with multiple cases. Discovery. That's basically the process where both sides, defense attorneys, insurance companies, exchange information and evidence. This becomes more complex when you have multiple cases. Insurance companies will request medical records going back years. They'll use information from one case to try to undermine the other. For example, in your car accident case, the defense will request your records from your slip and fall treatment, arguing that some of your ongoing symptoms are from the fall, not the car accident. We need to be prepared to address these arguments with clear medical evidence and clear expert testimony. Now, personally, I found that being proactive in discovery can actually help our clients by getting comprehensive medical evaluations early and clearly, documenting the extent and cause of each injury. We can head off many of the insurance companies' arguments before they even gain traction. It's also important for us, by heading it off early, to explain to you, the client, exactly what each thing means and how they interact and where we foresee some difficulties, and say, okay, let's strategize how we're going to handle these different medical records, these different expert testimony. How are we going to do this? How are we going to put it in a clear and concise way that's going to be what I call maximizing the value and the effect of each of these pieces of critical evidence? Why you need experienced legal representation. Managing multiple personal injury cases simultaneously requires a higher level of coordination and expertise that, quite honestly, most people and most attorneys don't have. You're dealing with multiple insurance companies, each with their own adjusters, their own timelines, and their own strategies for minimizing your claim. You're also dealing with complex medical evidence, multiple legal deadlines, and the need to present consistent but case-specific arguments in each matter. This isn't something you should try to handle on your own, and it's not something you should trust to an attorney who doesn't have significant experience with personal injury law or who just dabbles in personal injury law. And they also do pretty much every type of law, a jack-of-all-trades type of attorney. That's not going to cut it often in this type of intricate case. Now, in my practice, when I take on clients with multiple claims, we create a comprehensive case management system. We track all medical appointments, all deadlines, all discovery requests, and all settlement negotiations across all cases. We coordinate with medical providers to ensure proper documentation and work with experts who can provide opinions that support all of your claims. Now, moving forward with confidence, that is critical. You need to feel confident in the attorney that you choose. You need to feel confident that you understand the direction and that you have constant communication with the attorney and his staff, as well as your doctors. This all needs to be a coordinated effort. Now, if you're dealing with multiple injury claims, don't let fear or uncertainty prevent you from pursuing the compensation you deserve. Each accident that wasn't your fault represents a separate legal right, and you shouldn't have to absorb the financial impact of someone else's negligence, or should we call it stupidity, just because you've already been injured before. The key is getting experienced legal representation and an experienced legal staff early in the process. The sooner we can start coordinating your cases and building comprehensive medical documentation, the stronger your position will be in all of your claims, and the better you'll feel. That pressure will be off your shoulders. We want you to get better. Let us handle the difficult process. The insurance carriers, the defense attorneys, the investigators, help you deal with the doctors. You get better. You focus on you. We're going to focus on you and the insurance companies and defense attorneys. So here's what you've learned today. You can absolutely file multiple personal injury claims in New York as long as they're from separate incidents. Each case stands on its own legal merits, but they require careful coordination to maximize your recovery and avoid giving insurance companies ammunition to use against you. The medical documentation and legal strategy become more complex. But with the right representation, you can successfully pursue compensation for all of your injuries. Don't let one accident prevent you from seeking justice for another. If you're watching this video, I not only hope that it's helped you, but let's be honest, you're watching this video probably because you or a loved one or a friend is going through this exact situation and you're not sure what to do, but you know something's not right and you got to do something. There's no better time than now to start. So let's go. Let's start. Let's take that pressure off of you. So you know what? Give us a call. It doesn't cost anything. And you know what? At worst, you'll get information. At best, we can help you. And we're going to tell you straight up front, hey, we can help you, or no, we can't. But either way, we're going to tell you, you know what? These are potential issues. But my office, we don't run from issues. We run towards the issue. We face it. We're going to show you how to face it and get past that fear. Let us do the heavy lifting. You get better. Now, if you've been involved in any type of commercial vehicle accident, whether that's a truck, a delivery van, an Amazon truck, or a company car, there are some specific legal protections and strategies you need to know about immediately. Commercial vehicle accidents often involve multiple insurance policies, federal regulations, and corporate defendants with deep pockets. But they also come with strict deadlines and evidence that can disappear quickly. That's exactly what I'm covering in my next video. What to do if you've been involved in a commercial vehicle accident in New York. The steps you take in the first few days can make or break your case. So don't wait to watch that one. See you over there.